Hey guys, what is up? Today I have a video here for you trying to talk to you about what are the best phones to get someone for Christmas this year. Now, we're not talking about the high-end flagships because you all know that the LG G3, the S5, the Note 4, the iPhone 6, they're all flagship phones. But for someone who's starting out a phone or who just needs a new one that's been pretty affordable. Now, I actually have a few options for you guys. Now, this is basically depending on what operating system, how much you want to spend, and exactly how much. But just about all of these are under 350 under off contract. Now, actually, the first one I actually want to start off with is actually one of my favorites right now. It's the Nokia Lumia 520, and then there's the 521 T-Mobile variant. Now, this is a Windows phone, as you can see, but it is very, very smooth, fluid. It's got Windows 8.1. It's got everything you need. Now, the only problem with this one is that the App Store is pretty limited. It only has a number of apps, but for around $50 and even $30 on Amazon is pretty great phone for a pretty reasonable price. Now, this comes in two variants. It comes with the 520, which is the AT&T Go phone model, and the 521, which is the T-Mobile model. This one actually is a 520 AT&T Go phone model. Now, it's very fast, fluid, responsive. I never see any lag. The camera's okay. I mean, it has a 1 gigahertz processor, about a gigabyte of RAM. It's nothing too special, but it's definitely something to consider if you just want to buy a nice, inexpensive phone for someone in your family. And definitely a good pick. Okay, now let's move on to one of my actually another favorites. Actually, some of these I actually don't have, but this one is actually my currently my favorite Android device overall, and it's really only under $100. Now, this is actually the original Moto G, and it is definitely a very good phone, very responsive. Like this one as well, it's the camera's not too great, but definitely it is a great Android phone. Basically runs very close to a stock Android. It normally gets updates very soon after they become available to Nexus devices, but this definitely is a great phone. This one actually is about $60 without a contract. Now they have GSM variants, and this one right here is actually a Sprint variant. This one's a CDMA model phone, so it doesn't have a SIM card, but actually it was only like 60. I ended up paying $100, but it was like $60. Now you can find them for about $60. Now, actually, there's actually two other models of this. There's the Moto G, 2014 edition, and then there's the Moto E, or I mean the Moto G, the second generation, but and the Moto E. But the Moto G second generation actually has a little bit of higher specs, and it's a little bit pricier. But this one's still a great option. And the Moto E is a little bit less expensive, a little bit in between these two, and it is also a very good phone. I mean, they're all getting updates soon. They're all fast, fluid. I've never had any problem with them. Now, with budget phones, something you always skimp out on is the camera, and for that reason, these actually don't have the best camera. Now, now this one, the battery is actually not removable, so there's no way to but you can open the back cover, but the battery is not removable, so there's no way to buy an extra spare battery just in case it dies. But now let's move on to some other ones that I actually have loaded up for you guys, so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this first one is the LG Tribute. Now, this one's about $70. I believe that there's a Sprint variant for about $40 on Amazon, but I personally found this one at actually, no, it was $60. $60 at Best Buy. It is the Virgin Mobile variant of it that was at Best Buy for only $60, and I've got a chance to play around with it. It's very fluid, smooth. The operating system's okay. Everything's good on it, except the only problem is that the screen is a little bit smaller. It's very small. So I mean, this is a great phone for someone younger, a little kid who wants their little smartphone, or just a play phone to play around with. Like, I have apps, load up a couple Angry Birds in there, and now the battery life, I heard it's not the best, but it definitely is doable for a $6 phone. And now let's move on to the Sharpquos. Now this one actually is it's a little bit, it's the most expensive one we've seen today so far, but it's about 150 without a contract on Boost Mobile and or Sprint. You can get on Sprint as well. And I believe Verizon has it. I might be missing it, but it's actually a more cutting edge design, as in there's basically no bezels to it. So it's a bit weird to hold in hand. It's a weird design. Definitely not something that would be would you would think of seeing on a $150 off contract smartphone, but definitely something to consider, something to look at. And I'm just giving you guys a basic idea of what you guys you should look at in terms of cheap phones. But none of these phones actually are cheap. They're very great builds. It's just that they're very inexpensive. They have a very low price range. But these are basically the best low-end smartphones you can get. Now, this one's a bit more expensive. This one actually is the OnePlus One, a $350 smartphone off contract, but it has similar specs as Samsung Galaxy S5 and other flagships such as the G3. Very similar design to the G3, and also very similar internals to the S5. Now, the problem with this is a great phone, definitely one of the faster phones. It's a flagship, basically, for only $350 off contract. Now, this is definitely a great phone to get someone, but the only problem with this one is that trying to get it, that's going to be the main problem. The only way to get one is if you have an invite or following them on their social medias to find out when they're doing giveaways or invites, because it's very difficult to get these. Everyone wants one right now, so very difficult. So I'm saying if you can get your hands on one, if you look around and somehow get lucky through their social media, then definitely go get one. Now there's just another one I want to talk about. It is the Nexus 5. I really don't have a picture of that loaded up on here, but definitely a great phone. It is actually the older model, the predecessor to the Nexus 6, but still a flagship device, still very fast, fluid. It's currently running Lollipop right now, and definitely a great phone. It's around, you can probably find one cheaper now for about maybe $250, $350 out of Google Play Store, but definitely you can find one cheaper, maybe even $250. I know they just cut production of them, so there might be a little bit of spike in price, but just wait a little bit and it'll calm down. But definitely, these are great holiday gifts for someone who just needs a new smartphone. These are all great options. None of them they're not going to be disappointed with any of them, but they're definitely all great starter smartphones, or something that you just need to hold you over, like till, let's say you dropped yours in the toilet just till your contract expires and you can get a new one, or just someone who wants to save a little bit of money. You can grab one of these phones, pair it with a $50 unlimited plan, and save you a ton of money over a regular contract that'll run you about $75 over and up. Currently, I'm with T-Mobile and I'm paying about $75 a month for my phone, and before then I was paying only $50 a month, and I had a great phone. But like I said, any of these phones are great options. These are all great phones, all good prices. None of these are actually going to break the bank, but definitely great phone. Quality, nice build. Some of these are actually a little bit cheaply built, but I mean, you have to throw away some stuff to be able to get to that lower price range. But they're all great phones. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment down below to tell me what you want to see next. Till next time.